Boy, the JMO rumors are getting louder. JMO has been clearing his social media. He's been posting loyalty before everything in his stories on IG and posting a lot of other things that indicate, and we're connecting dots here. A lot of the social media community and newsbreakers and talking heads like myself sometimes find something they're passionately talking about in some other way, and we tie it to their current situation. But JMO trade rumors are circling and they're getting louder. We'll discuss that. Christian McCaffrey, no limitations right now. Do we believe a word coming from Kyle Shanahan's mouth and John Lynch? Because we were told they were fine, or he was fine in 2024. That didn't work out so well for us, did it? And we've got James Cook, a bust alert from your boy Smitty, a player to not just kind of, be careful with, but maybe avoid altogether and draft his counterpart, Ray Davis, or incoming rookie, because they could potentially go the direction of grabbing a rookie that might be as good as Ray Davis because his class is so good. We got all kinds of news. Cowboys trade rumors. Jerry said he's making potentially 2 big moves before draft day. And one's a trade. Could it be JMO? And we got Pickens not getting moved. 49er talk. The fantasy football show. This episode is going to be fire. File on in. There's so much to cover. The fantasy football show begins right now.
From the fantasyfootballshow.com studios,
it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday,
8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
What a show we have in store for you. This is going to be so packed with information. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the thumb up button. Please hit the thumb up button on the way in the door. We got over 100 people already in the building and 17 thumbs up. Smash it real quickly. Get it out of the way. Do your boy a favor. You just close the live chat and then hit the thumb up and then open the live chat again. Very simple. Loyalty before any and everything, says JMO on social media, specifically on his stories right now. And this is 19 hours ago that he posted this. His social media. Now, granted, some of this was cleared out in some respects, or clearing out anyway. Hard to tie everything together. But at the end of the day, the guy's taken down and minimized his social media footprint. And it doesn't have lion stuff on it at all. And he's putting things like this in his stories. It's not like he's not active on it. He's clearly active in the stories, posting things like that, cryptic stuff. And then you've got, this one he posted 19 hours ago. If you're scared to pick a side, don't play the middle. Just get all the way out of the way. No faking. Who knows what he's referencing, to be honest. It could be something unrelated. But the fact that he's in trade rumors, the Lions aren't shooting it down. Like I'll talk about in a minute, that the Steelers are kind of playing coy about and shooting down to a degree the idea of trading Pickens. It could be posturing to make sure teams know that they don't want to trade him. That makes him more expensive. So I'm not fully sold that Pickens isn't going to create a stink here, as he wants a big fat contract. But Williams is not getting defended. Ben Johnson's out. I'm already worried about this quarterback situation with Jared Goff kind of turning back into a pumpkin, or some version of a pumpkin, because he was not a great quarterback. He was mediocre to average before Ben Johnson turned everything around. New Age Outlaw coming in immediately. Is that New Age? New Age Outlaw with 20 gifted memberships immediately. Let me make sure my alerts are popping so everybody knows what in the hell is going on. Thank you, New Age, for that $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
What a monster New Age is. But JMO rumors are kicking into high gear, ladies and gentlemen. This is not something that feels like it's, it could get shot down at any moment. The team could come out and say, but similar to the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe try and calm the waters, make the trade value better. We're not trading JMO. We're not looking to trade JMO, but we need some defense here, or we kind of buy into it. There's troubled waters over in Detroit, and they might be gearing more toward a little bit more run-heavy system in situation, even though the goal was to have internally someone brought up, which they did, to replace Ben Johnson so that they could keep the same system and processes in place. But, this is going to be hard to run this ship without Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was the full, commander-in-chief, essentially, with kind of the culture setter in Campbell. Campbell's not the guy running the offense in the show. He makes a lot of bold decisions and tells Ben Johnson when to go for it on fourth down over and over and over. But Ben Johnson, look, Ben Johnson is gone, and that's a problem. If anybody thinks that the Lions are going to be better without Ben Johnson, and with the turmoil already potentially in place here, you got another thing coming. Yeah, some are saying Pickens and Jamo. That wouldn't be a good move for the Lions. You're getting a much lesser player mentally, but probably a very similar skilled player physically. They're both very gifted. They're both top 12 potential talents in some regard, but will they ever produce like that? Jamo has to go somewhere to be a 1 to produce like that. Pickens has to go somewhere to be a 1, and neither one of them are likely, if they even get traded, to go to a place where they're the number 1, unless it is New England. And what if New England picked up the phone and said, give us Jameson Williams? Drake May to Jamo? If Jamo goes to Drake May, that changes everything. Jamo's getting overdrafted. I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it and pounding the table until people listen. Jamo's getting way overdrafted at like the 3-4 turn. This is crazy for a guy that's not even the second, not even the third, in some cases, not even the fourth option on his team. A team that lost Ben Johnson, a team that's had Goff propped up like Purdy was propped up when the Niners were fully healthy and had all their players. This is not the Goff you think it is. So Jamo's getting extremely overdrafted. But if he got traded to the New England Patriots to be the 1 for Drake May, this guy goes to the moon. But that is something that's hard to know and predict and guess is going to go down. But who are the most hungry teams for a wide receiver? Well, I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Jerry Jones did mention that he's making 2 big moves potentially, and that he's trading for a player, a big name player, is still potentially in play and could happen before draft day here on Thursday, which I'll be live for the entire first round on Thursday. You want to watch the draft with somebody, watch it with me. I'll be breaking down every pick as we go. And then on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be live on and off, but I'm going to be dropping videos on all of the landing spot implications throughout the entirety of late Friday night or late Thursday night after, we'll do a recap or something. Friday, Saturday, Sunday are going to be video drop updates like this on the channel, some live streams mixed in. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. Hit that thumb up button. We got 45 thumbs up and we got over 160 people total in here. 45 thumbs up. Do it live. Subscribe if you're new. So Jamo, we'll find out where he's going to go. Dallas is an option based on Jerry's comments, I think. I think New England is certainly, they've been wide receiver hungry for a while. This would not shock me if he ended up getting traded to New England. But whole lot more to break down. That is the Jamo news and saga at the moment, and more to come on Jamo. We've got this guy, Dalvin Cook. This might take a second as we pause here and we reflect upon a man that scored 16 rushing touchdowns last year. A man that scored 18 total touchdowns on the season because he pulled in 2 receiving during the regular season. So 18 total touchdowns, but barely ran for over 1,000 yards. There's an anomaly factor here that we must consider. Now, you have to be fair with the situation, and I will, and I'll go over the stats, the ADPs, and talk about why I don't like him, where I would like him, because he's not a total buster. I'm all out at certain ADP, but at his current ADP, I'm all out. Bills GM talked about this guy, James Cook, as not being at voluntary workouts. However, it's voluntary, quote unquote, being told reporters. Try not to look too far into it, being said. He didn't want to assume Cook is skipping over his contract demands since he hadn't heard from that directly. Anyway, rather than continue to read this article, I'll just tell you the summary of what everybody's talking about and describing with the situation is that it's heading toward a hold in. The new holdout is the hold in, where the player shows up, stretches, has some hamstring tightness, and that way they don't get fined. They're there. The perception is they want to be the better, bigger person in the situation. Agents are telling their players now not to hold out completely because it makes it look like you're the villain in the situation. If he shows up and he's sitting there and there's footage of him stretching and he's going like this and he's throwing the ball around, he's going like that, he's stretching his arms, he's doing these, and all of a sudden the fan base is going, dude's sitting there, pay him. He's waiting to get paid. He's not holding out. He's waiting to get paid. That's what's going on with this situation. Gump, I'm in the middle of news. I'm about to make it so you can't call the rest of the day. Why would I answer your call during the middle of my news monologue? What in the hell's wrong with you, Gump? Okay, call after the monologue. As for this situation, he's going to hold in. That just because you show up to the facility and do one of these every couple minutes doesn't mean you're not very prone to injury. If this lingers, he will be extremely, extremely volatile to an injury. If this lingers, Ray Davis becomes a bigger part of the game plan. He starts learning more. You don't want a guy like Ray Davis who scored 6 total touchdowns as a rookie. We gotta keep in mind how many touchdowns this mother freaking Buffalo Bill team scored last year. This guy scored 16 on the ground, 2 receiving, 18 total. Ray Davis pulled in 6 total touchdowns during the regular season, but he is a wrecking ball. And if he gets more and more and more work and he becomes more versed in the offense, he starts learning and becoming a better pass protector because this guy's holding in and stretching on the sidelines. Guess what happens when he hits the field? Guys, barely 1,000 yards on a 16, 18 total TD season with not a bunch of receiving yards. His yardage went down from 2023 to 2024. His yardage went down from 11 something down to barely 1,000. His receiving yards went from about 400 down to, I believe it's right here. I believe it was, 445 in 2023, which was a remarkable receiving season, by the way. 44 receptions, 445 and 4. You have to give him respect for 2023's receiving totals. He went from 445 down to 258 and 2. You know, not horrible, but that is not a big time receiver. That is what you get out of a guy where you're like, okay, he's more of a running back than he is some sort of dual threat type of guy. But his yardage from receiving to carries to receiving yards to everything went down from 2023 to 2024 significantly, except for he scored 18 touchdowns. It's an anomaly. The regression is very likely, and if you even look at his rushing stats, this is probably the most important thing to look at. He had 2 touchdowns, and you could say, oh, Smitty, they're just using him different. They're not. 2 touchdowns rushing in 2022, 2 touchdowns rushing in 2023, and last year, 16. You tell me what's going on. Less yards rushing, okay? The only thing that went up was the yards per carry went from 4.7 to 4.9. He's never been bad at yards per carry. He's a very strong runner, but his yardage went down. His carries went down. Yes, 1 less game, but 16 is an anomaly. It's time to walk away from this project at its cost of entry. Its cost of entry is right around this 40 overall territory. Let's look at the running back ADP by itself. We have a James Cook ADP of mother freaking 41 overall. Do I love a lot of the running backs that are here over him? Like Chase Brown's 1 spot ahead of him, Breece Hall, Kyron. These guys a lot of the time will kind of mix and match around this territory. So don't think that Breece Hall can't go before Cook in a draft. He certainly can. Chase Brown as well, especially with the draft concerns right now. If you're on Underdog drafting, promo code Smitty, link in description, where Underdog will match your first deposit up to $1,000 in bonus credits and put a free pick in your account for as long as they do that. Make sure you jump over and do that and get it done. Do it live. But you can draft Chase Brown on Underdog. Link in description. Right now, a little later than this, his ADP is falling because of the threat of them drafting an RB, and rightly so. But my point is, James Cook, you got these guys that linger around there. I'm taking Breece Hall, Chase Brown over Cook every time. Hampton, even with the unknowns, will know his draft landing spot here very soon on Thursday. But right now, as of this live stream, we don't know where Hampton's going. We don't know where Trey Henderson at the bottom is going. I'm drafting Henderson and Hampton every time over James Cook. And that doesn't mean I hate James Cook. I just hate his ADP. I just hate that cost of entry off an anomaly season with down yardage. Barely 1,000 yards. Ray Davis looking pretty good. Ray Davis had 400 and this guy right here. Let me put Ray Davis. Let's give Ray Davis some respect. Let's give Ray Davis some respect. The man deserves it. He's a mother freaking midseason monster. Or rookie, potentially a midseason monster or a rookie. The reason we have this rookie running back potential caveat is because of Cook's holdout and the idea that this team says, look, we'll just draft one of these 6th-round steal running backs. Every team should be considering it. Don't think, oh, because they've got 2 running backs, they're not going to draft Ray Davis. Not true, because it all comes down to value. It comes down to, will a team say, hey, we can't pass up on Dylan Sampson in round 5 if for any reason he fell, or Jarquez Hunter, who's unbelievable. You take that kid, or a Blue, or someone of that nature falling into the crazy territory where you take a stab. Then all of a sudden you got a rookie and Ray Davis threatening. But when you look at the overall ADP and you say, okay, 40 overall is Jaden Daniels. 41 is Cook. Jaden Daniels is 40. I'm taking JD5 1,000 times over James Cook. 1,000 out of 1,000. Chase Brown, James Cook, Hampton, Devontae Smith is attractive here. J-Mo, imagine, this is too high. Imagine J-Mo, though, going to the Patriots. We got Jalen Hurts and Burrow. Jalen Hurts, Burrow, JD5, all over James Cook. That's when you say to yourself, early quarterback, it's time to jump and do early quarterback. It's time to jump and do early quarterback. Mark says, Smitty always against Cook except for the blip last year. Bro, you're talking to, and I know you're kind of acknowledging that, Mark, but you're talking to the guy who literally said, as you're referencing, I'm giving you credit, literally said, go get James Cook. Go get J-Mo. J-Mo and James Cook were this show's one of the two of the biggest go-get players from week 1 all the way through their blow-up seasons. Your boy told you to trade for James Cook all year long. Your boy told you to trade for Jameson Williams and start him all year long. These were 2 monster go-gets and plays from the beginning of the season all the way through their big season. So just so everybody's clear, there's no hatred in you kind of saying that, Mark. How could I always hate James Cook except for the blip last year? How many seasons has he played? You've got 3 seasons here, and you're saying I've always hated James Cook except for the blip. So 1/3 of the time, Mark, doesn't make any sense what you're saying. I appreciate you giving me credit for last year's James Cook blow-up. But don't say I've always hated the guy. When it doesn't jive with some of the hater comment, and Mark, I know you're not a hater, but the hater comment takes, it has to be that I'm hating myself. It can't be this is my objective take. This is how I feel about it. Because it doesn't jive with someone's take, it has to be me hating on the player instead of me giving you a hard dose of reality. My bedside manner is just strong. Doesn't mean I'm biased or digging my heels in on some stupid topic that I just dig it in because I'm throwing more bad after bad. This is me sitting down with you and giving you the stone cold truth, the absolute facts of the matter as I see it. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's why we play the game. That's why I have a show doing this. That's why I'm never going to be 100% on everything at all. Okay, my best season ever is going to be a 75% accuracy of all these huge, big, crazy things because no one can hit, more than that. But for you to say that I'm, besides a blip on the radar, been a hater, he's played 3 games, or 3 seasons, Mark. Like, what are we talking about here? Back to my point, though. Jaden Daniels, Hurts, Burrow, these are monsters you don't pass on. They could outscore everybody in fantasy, not just quarterbacks. Look, Hurts could be the number 1 overall scorer any given season. Joe Burrow could be 1 or 2 or 3 overall scorer in fantasy football any given season. JD5 could blow every player in the entire fantasy football world out of the water in fantasy points at the end of the year. And you're going to pass on him for a James Cook who scored 18 touchdowns after 2 seasons back-to-back before that where he's scoring 2 touchdowns. It's an anomaly. My advice is to walk away from this situation at his current cost of entry. Now, we talk about line in the sand. We talk about line in the sand on this channel for a reason. We coined that phrase on this channel. That is when a player goes from an avoid, boom. They go past the line in the sand. They flip into a value or somebody you flirt with taking at some capacity, but not a lot. Where does the line of the sand develop for James Cook? Probably after the Burrow, Hurts, Trevion Henderson. Henderson on the running back board, you could see. Here, Henderson's still down a ways. So I would say if you're looking at 48.3 where Joe Burrow is, Henderson's right around 49.50. I would say 50 overall ADP, which is about around 10 picks later, I would be okay casually drafting James Cook, cuffing him to Ray Davis, watching the draft closely, making sure I have the entire backfield, and say, okay, in the 50s, I'm comfortable at a rotational basis, a sprinkling in of sorts of drafting James Cook. That is about a 10-pick difference between ADP and my line in the sand, if you want to know where it is. So when you say I hate James Cook or Smitty, there's no world where Smitty loves James Cook. Not true. I just told you where my line in the sand is for James Cook. And that's all we have on Cook right now. This news, look, ETN, there's tons of rumors. I just want to throw this back out. We talked about it yesterday. Travis Etienne is a player who's in a contract year, rookie contract, who could be deemed expendable. This is coming from ESPN's Adam Schefter. There's a lot of buzz right now that the Genty to the Jaguars at 5 is a reality now. So this is a very, very solid idea and concept to break down on 100 different levels. And we'll do that in a second. Where is Genty going? Who could Genty go to that we're not expecting? And could my earlier prediction in the offseason be true that the team that drafts him is not even currently, as of this moment, slotted inside the top 10? They trade in like the Denver Broncos and draft Genty. They go to 5. Sean Payton loves certain players, and he makes sure he gets them. I think Sean Payton would love Genty, and so they could be in play. I think Chicago is very much upset that no longer is Genty looking and trending to be a top or a 10 overall pick. He's looking to be a top 6 overall pick. Raiders want Genty bad, but I don't know if they're hungry enough to go get 5 or 4 or 3 to ensure it. They're kind of sit back and we'll take him if he's there. Whereas I think Denver's saying, Jaguars, what do you want? And the Jaguars are starting to think, I think, strongly about turning Genty into their Bucky Irving. And Genty in that Bucky role where Liam Cohen was the guy that, and I say they turn him into their Bucky because Liam Cohen, now the head coach of the Jaguars, was the OC over in Tampa, who's now looking to have his Bucky Irving blossom in this Jaguars offense. We think it's probably going to be Tank Bigsby. He's a big sleeper on this channel.
The Moon Man.
Where's Bigsby at? Well, right, is he on the Mars Man?
He's on a shuttle to Mars.
Maybe
Mars
Bigsby's
Man.
still just on the midseason monsters. That might need to change, but of course, that'll be after the draft. Probably that we add him just because it would be a shame to throw him on there. Genty gets drafted and have to take him right off. But if, let's say, Genty doesn't go to the Jaguars, Bigsby is going to be probably a Moon Man at the very least. He's been on the midseason monster the entire offseason. And Bigsby's a monster. He's straight up the next Bucky Irving. His stats, his forced missed tackle data, his yards after contact per attempt, all that stuff screams Bucky Irving. It screams Bucky. ETN could be his Rashad White. When I say his, I mean Liam Cohen, who's now the head coach of the Jaguars, formerly of the Tampa Bay Bucks as OC, turning Bucky into Bucky last year. Liam Cohen knows RBs. He knows the run game. But does he go after Genty? That is the current rumor right now, that the Jaguars number 5 overall pick, the pick we call the leapfrog pick, where anybody like the Bears or the Broncos want to have Genty before he gets taken by the Raiders must jump into this leapfrog number 5 overall spot. If the Jaguars don't take him there, Genty themselves. So that's the ETN news. More to come on that. Just exciting news. There's so much news right now. It's such an exciting time. 49ers have a lot of this. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. George Kittle did not report to voluntary workouts, whereas, and this is news. We talked about their potential holdouts, but we have confirmation today. Brock Purdy is at 49ers voluntary offseason conditioning, which is very good of Brock, very stand-up-ish of Brock, but how long does that last? He's showing good faith right now. The team has to get a long-term deal done with him if they want that. I think it's crazy. I think given this guy, Schefter said today, it's going to be north of 50. That is crazy. Kittle wants an extension. You just gave CMC an extension, and then he broke. You just gave Ayuk $30 million a year, and he broke, and is not here mentally anyway. Like, this team dismantled their entire defense, and all these players just scattered. And they got rid of like half the roster. And now you're going to give George Kittle a bag. Now you're going to give Brock Purdy $50 million a year. You've already got Ayuk on a $30 million per year. You couldn't even cut him. There was contemplation and talk about the Niners, if they cut Ayuk, but they couldn't because he got injured. So it was like, getting kicked around as if they could, they would cut Brandon Ayuk to relieve themselves of the future financial obligations. Keep in mind, Ayuk's not even slated to be their number 2 wide receiver anymore. It's going to be Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings. Those are the better receivers on the roster. Now you got Cowing, you got a whole lot of probably rookies coming in because Shanahan drafts a ton. But unbelievable that the Niners are going to pay Brock Purdy $50 million, but they'll drag it out. How long do they drag it out? And right now Brock's showing up and Kittle's not, but that could change. So more on that to come, but we got more news. We talked about the JMO thing. If you missed it, go back and watch the JMO news. CMC, this is more Christian McCaffrey news. There's definitely some Christian McCaffrey buzz. Let me see if I can find that. I thought I had it all queued up and ready to go, but I must have accidentally deleted this. So let me get CMC on the board here. Christian McCaffrey, news came out today that McCaffrey has no restrictions walking into the today's workouts, and that's good news. I'll admit, like I think that anybody that believes McCaffrey is going to have a good season and bounce back, you're on the right track, but I'm not trusting a word coming out of Kyle Shanahan's mouth. I'm just not. You can if you want, that's fine. I understand, but I'm not trusting Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch when they tell me, or even if Christian McCaffrey tells me that he's looking healthy and everything looks good to go. I have the Christian McCaffrey news piece somewhere. I can read it. I'm just not a man that's going to trust this situation at all, especially at the cost of entry. Christian McCaffrey said that he's participating in San Francisco's offseason program with no restrictions. Kyle Shanahan said McCaffrey was healthy and doing great earlier this month, but it's still notable that McCaffrey is going through OTAs without restrictions. As soon as the injury happened in Buffalo, this was my goal, to not miss a day of OTAs, be back, ready to go, with nothing hindering me. And that's where I'm at, McCaffrey told reporters. I know everyone wants to make like this means he's 100%. To me, when I read this, he's got goals in place to not miss time, which means this is still delicate. It's not like he's saying, guys, this is a non-factor. Stop asking me about it. I'm healthy. I got over it. He's still talking about it in a way that makes me uncomfortable. Too uncomfortable to even flirt with the idea of a top of round 2 selection. And I don't even know where my line in the sand is, to be honest with you. I have no clue. If he fell to round 3, we'd have to look at it and have a discussion, but there's no world I can envision where he plays more than 12, 11 games, 13 games, unless he's limited completely and he plays 14, 15 games at a limited capacity, frustrating owners, sharing the workload with Garendo or whatever incoming rookie Shanahan drafts. Could be Cam Scatterbo. I'll pound the table, I'll punch the air if this Niners team drafts Cam Scatterbo instead of him going somewhere like Cleveland to be the lone running back. I'll be so pissed on draft day. And know this, draft day will serve us up a couple disappointment landing spots, no doubt about it. And they could ruin or kick another player right in the sack, where it's like, a Breece Hall, a potential Jordan Mason because the Vikings take someone, like any of those situations we're definitely going to see one of those disappointing current running back in the NFL disappointment situations go down, and we'll certainly see a handful of bad landing spots for running backs like Scatterbo. I hopeful that he won't land in a bad spot. But here we have a situation where Christian McCaffrey is still dancing around that, things are good. And I think that's concerning, and we should be still very mindful of this. You could, however, do it this way. You could, however, draft Christian McCaffrey if you wanted. Make sure you cuff Garendo, then you're covered, and then monitor the draft and make sure you're scooping up that running back as well. If you have the trio, you're probably pretty safe, but there's still a risk that you get screwed in the middle of games because this man has bilateral chronic Achilles tendonitis. Do you know what that means? I'll tell you what it means. Actually, I'll play it for you because I have it all set up and ready to go.
Achilles tendonitis is essentially inflammation of the Achilles tendon, which is like a rope made of many strands or fibers. Overuse or aging can cause these fibers to weaken or tear, leaving the tendon vulnerable. In Christian McCaffrey's case, with his heavy workload and age, this type of injury can make it tough to bounce back fully, putting his performance at risk. Bilateral tendonitis means both tendons are affected, so the risk is doubled. With McCaffrey's past injuries and age, it's a ticking time bomb. This could severely impact his future performance.
So in order to have McCaffrey safely on your roster, you need all three. If you play in a league where your rosters don't allow for you to have that many running backs, you can't draft him. If you play in a league that there's such a big bench, you can go ahead and explore this, and you want to draft Christian McCaffrey, then you can go ahead and play around with this situation. Or you could just draft Bucky Irving or Kyron Williams or a player of that magnitude at the Christian McCaffrey ADP. Does anybody think that McCaffrey's safer than Kyron Williams or Bucky Irving or potentially a Genty? I'm not taking McCaffrey over Genty, and that's where McCaffrey's currently going. So it is what it is. You can do what you want, but I'm telling you that bilateral Achilles tendonitis too, for those that don't know, this is not something that is a freak situation where you get over it. It's just chronic. Chronic means that it's long-term. It's not going away. And your Achilles tendon, you wear these things down differently than like an ACL tear, which is a freak occurrence. Achilles tendonitis is, especially Achilles tears, is where this tendon in the back of your heel, and you can feel it on the back if you just reach down, it feels like a cord. These things break down at the same level on both sides of your body. So if you've got one leg that has Achilles problems, you probably have Achilles problems in the other leg, because it's like brake pads. They're wearing down at the same potential, speed. And if you've got unraveling and breaking of those strands, because the Achilles tendon is like a rope made of thousands and thousands of strands, and each one of those strands is snapping, the rope is still strong for a while, but eventually too many little strands break and the rope is vulnerable, and then it busts with impact. McCaffrey not only has one a little bit worse Achilles tendon than the other, he's got bilateral chronic Achilles tendonitis in both of his Achilles tendons that doesn't go away. He got some procedure done overseas that certainly could help bring swelling down, bring him back to ground zero. The moment he goes out there and starts pounding the ground and punching, defenders with his play, this is going to change. He's going to get hit off balance. He's going to start firing off that Achilles different than in practice reps. In practice, you're not going the same speed. This is going to be something that I think is going to crush a lot of people's fantasy seasons. And if I'm wrong, guess what? If I'm wrong, I'm still not wrong.
Let him cook.
Well, what do you mean, Smitty? Because I'm still drafting a player that I love just as much as McCaffrey at McCaffrey's value. So I'd rather just take the Bucky, the Genty, the Kyron even, who in redraft goes in round 2, and best ball, Kyron goes in round 3. So you can get Kyron in round 3, and why not go a wide receiver or someone like that, St. Brown, whoever falls in that Christian McCaffrey territory, and take your Kyron or Breece Hall later and lay off the risk a little bit. This is not a player I recommend anybody go after walking into 2024. There's just 2025. There's just no rhyme or reason to it. This piece of news here, told you we got a lot of news. This is fantastic. We're cranking it out. We got one more little segment, and then we're going to go to the phone lines, answer the super chats first. I got 4 super chats waiting. I appreciate all of you. We got over 200 people on YouTube in the building. We got over 100-something people on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, aka X, make sure you get over to the YouTube channel and subscribe, because I don't go live every day on Twitter. I do it to let people know we're still here, because people used to watch on Twitter a lot, but I'm focusing on YouTube. So my Twitter people need to get over to YouTube and hit subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube for the first time, we're live every day. We're here every day, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're live whenever news breaks additionally. And I'm also live midnight Eastern, most graveyard shows. So subscribe if you're new. Please, 91 thumbs up, 300 and something people in here. Hit that thumb up button. Adams, this is more Niner madness. God, these 49ers. What are they doing back there? What are they doing back there? Look at this. Davante Adams says that the Niners tried to lowball him in free agency. I was entertaining the Niners, but they were like, we're paying wholesale. We ain't paying retail. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not wholesale type of dude. This is a guy that has a Taco Bell in his house. You think he's going to play for free? The Niners lowballed him. He said, I'm out. I'm bouncing. I'm going somewhere where they respect me. And the Rams said, hey, division rivals over here. Let us take him in. And now the Rams are probably the favorite in the West because they've got a guy that's probably going to pull in 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. I'm not saying he's at his prime, but there's still a world where he does drop just slightly below his prime type numbers for like 10, 12 games, has a couple of sporadic games that he wouldn't normally have if he was in his prime. At the end of the day, full circle, especially in best ball, very important player. Because you can just, your lineup is started for you optimally. So you don't need to worry about putting him in. He gets put in for you when he blows up. He gets taken out. Spike weeks are going to be huge for him in best ball. So he's going to have a 2-touchdown game, 0 touchdowns, 40 yards, 2 touchdowns. Adams is that kind of guy. Great for best ball. But this is what a bad maneuver by the Niners. The Niners they lost their way. Without Adam Peters, they've been awful. Ever since the draft was they drafted some good players, but they still didn't maximize their potential because they took a second-round wide receiver in the first round. And it's just, they handled the offseason so poorly. They paid Ayuk $30 million a year versus bringing in Adams. Like, think about that for a second. You got Ayuk, who's not even going to play for a while, and you could have got Adams on a very short-term deal, and now you're committed to Ayuk. Like, what are they doing? The Rams know what they're doing. McVay's so smart. McVay knows that Stafford shouldn't even be committed to. Like the Niners should know that Brock Purdy shouldn't be committed to. No one's saying Brock Purdy shouldn't be franchise tagged next year. And they try and work out a deal if he works out this year. But you shouldn't be paying Brock Purdy when he's under contract as the last pick in the draft on his rookie deal, still under contract. He's not a free agent. You pay him $5 million, nice little right size, 1 year adjusted. There you go. It's $5 million. You deserve it. There you go. Just be happy. Wait till next year. And if you're so good, guess what? We're going to overpay for you. That's on us. But we're willing to take that chance because committing to another player like the Niners just did with Brandon Ayuk is madness. You're going to give Brock Purdy $50 million coming off a bad season? And if you say, well, it's the Niners, it's the Niners got hurt, it wasn't his fault. Well, you're walking into a bare bones year where you've let half your roster go. And now you're going to pay him $50 million? And then what's the excuse going to be at the end of 2025? Well, they didn't have a lot of players. They got rid of them in the offseason. Then why sign Brock Purdy? Why not? And here's another more intelligent reason. Let's say Brock Purdy is him. Let me enlighten all the people out there that think I'm wrong. And you're going to say Smitty's right. The hater out there is about to turn and say, you're right. Never mind, Smitty. If he is the guy, and B for 3, tell me I'm wrong. You seem to be defending the Niners right now. B for 3 says Niners will be fine. Tell me I'm wrong. If Purdy's the guy, isn't it smarter to start his long-term contract next year when all of the pieces may be back in place? This is a rebuild year. The window's gone. The window was cracked and Shanahan and John dismantled the whole window. The window closed. Why not wait and line everything up for 2026 and beyond and give yourself the extra year? Case in point, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins signing their long-term deals this offseason versus the wasted year last year and being 1 year into those deals. Now they have a fresh start with their game plan of being that team this year. The Niners are very, very smart if they say, let's start it all next year and give ourselves the most time possible before we have to re-up on Brock Purdy. That is the plain and simple breakdown. This is not the year of the Niners, so you shouldn't be wasting one of those years on Brock right now. That's the truth. And if you're a Niner fan, you know down deep it's true. And these last pieces of news, then to the super chats, and then to the phone lines. We've got all of these little pieces real quick. Shedeur Sanders, according to NOLA.com, this guy Jeff Duncan, who I don't know, I'm not going to believe what he says. It's safe to say that the Saints won't take Shedeur Sanders in the 2025 NFL draft. I don't know that it's safe to say that, Duncan. I really don't. Personally, I think you need to take a lap. But that if this is the case, if it does unravel that way, what an absolute disgrace that the media has created a circus around Shedeur Sanders and a lot of people buying into it, and they should be ashamed of themselves. This is a good kid that's getting torn down in the media because of his father, and he's losing draft capital because of it. And you know what? The team that does go all in on him is going to make everyone regret this decision, and things happen for a reason. And if Shedeur does seem to fall in the NFL draft, he will land in a better spot because of it, and the whole league will be sorry that they partook in this situation. Same thing with Travis Hunter. Some of the negativity is weird. I think there's enough teams that want to dance that he's not going to slip at all. But you have this report here by ESPN's Peter Schrager. Reports are that the Browns and the Giants are fielding calls with other teams looking to trade into the top 5 picks because people make light of, are you going to be able to use him this way? Are you going to be able to use him that way? This guy that was a lock to be 1 or 2 overall, now the pick's potentially up for grabs. I mean, I think there will be a trade. I don't know if someone's trading into the pick before the draft, into the 2, the 3, the 5, before the draft begins or on the clock. But I do believe there will be one trade where a team gets into the first round, into the top 10 that's not currently in the top 10. This guy is the best wide receiver in the draft class. It's not even close. This guy, I don't care if he's playing 60% of the snaps at wide receiver, is going to play like a low-end wide receiver 1 for a majority of the year. And people that draft him as their 3rd wide receiver in Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, best ball, baby. Here's the link. I'll put it in the live chat. Hit this link, sign up. Link's in the description of the video. Link is also in the live chat. Let me pin it in the live chat. Go click that. We draft most midnights on this channel. And to draft with me, just click that link, sign up, $10 minimum. You'll be ready to go. Then when we go live, you just listen to my instructions. We jump in a draft together. Hit that link, do it live. If you're watching a replay, the link's in the description. Hit the link, do it live. Next time, we will go live at midnight Eastern. You can jump in. So smash that like. Travis Hunter, steal. Wow. Unbelievable value in your best ball drafts, Johnny. Do it live. Grab this kid as your 3rd, 4th wide receiver, and it will pay dividends. He will earn that value no matter what, unless he gets hurt. Barring some crazy unforeseen situation or injury, this guy as your 3rd wide receiver, it's a steal. People are losing their mind. 60%, he won't get enough touches. You think this man's running onto the field when he's at a 60% clip to just what? Stand around and pick his nose? Or do you think they're getting him the ball? Oh, Travis Hunter's coming in. Travis Hunter's entering the game. Oh my God, everybody, he's getting the ball. And he will. Sometimes they'll do decoy shit, but sometimes they won't. Travis Hunter to the mother freaking moon. Travis Hunter, stock is on the rise. Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Johnny's going to click the link. He says, I'm going to do it. Everybody click that link. Get ready to draft with us. Again, the link is dropped in the live chat. It's pinned. If you want to draft with us at midnights, most midnights, you have to hit that link. It's in the description of the video. It's also pinned in the live chat. $10 minimum to get signed up. And they'll match your deposit up to Gregory. Oh, Gregory. Here's Gregory. Why don't you call in, Gregory? Hunter sucks. Travis Hunter sucks. Why don't you call in when I open the phone lines in about 2 minutes and give me your best stuff on why Hunter sucks? Because I can't imagine what ammunition you think you have. I'm more intrigued at what you're going to say than anything the rest of this show, to be honest with you. And the thing is, you probably won't call in. Colts general manager talking about this guy, Anthony Richardson, and Daniel Jones in the same breath, that they're both going to help at some point. They're both sharing first-team reps. Don't count out AR5 completely yet. Not somebody you want to bank on, but don't count him out. He's going up against Danny Dimes. He's going to eventually start games if he doesn't start week 1. Could lose the job to Danny Dimes, too. Whoever starts will probably be like Russell Wilson last year in Pittsburgh. Whoever starts will probably be at a disadvantage because they're looking over their shoulder. So hopefully Danny Dimes does start, and then AR5 comes in without any, concerns or worries. Steelers head coach Tomlin said that Aaron Rodgers' availability will not affect the team's draft strategy, which is an indication they're still going to have Aaron Rodgers come in if he wants to, and I think he will. Otherwise, he would have said, we don't know what we're doing at quarterback. But for him to acknowledge that this is something that they still plan to be the situation. Cousins reported to Falcons voluntary workouts. This was kind of odd. He's definitely a kind of guy that would do that. He's a very, very team guy. I don't troll, says Gregory. You're kidding. Okay. Well, I don't know what made that comment, Okay. Anyway, Kirk Cousins, probably going to be traded. And the Steelers will be an option, but guess what? He's not going to, unless something crazy happens and he really likes the landing spot, he's got a no trade clause that he's already said he will not pull until the draft is over, until the entire draft is over, because he doesn't want to play second fiddle again. He wants the draft complete. He wants to know what teams have quarterbacks and what teams don't, what teams have drafted quarterbacks and what teams haven't, and then he wants to be traded. So that there's probably no Kirk Cousins trade on draft day for those thinking that that's a possibility. Anything's possible. He could, like I said, waive the no trade clause, but I doubt he's going to, because that's what he said. Travis Hunter, I talked about him already. Michael Pittman Jr., this is that cult following situation that I talked about yesterday and the day before, where people say, this guy's amazing, and people are so loud that other people hear it, and then this cultic following starts to take hold, and it props up a player's value more than it should. Waddle has a little bit of this. Jacoby Myers has a big cult following that enhances his value because the people are loud. Pittman's always had that following. I've been very anti-Deontay Johnson, very anti-Michael Pittman Jr., very anti-Jalen Waddle at the expectation of second-round value, which a lot of people have had for years, and I've been right on all three. There's such a cultic aspect here, where the cult following is so loud, they actually influence the value, and they make people believe they're bigger and stronger and better than they are. This guy, Michael Pittman Jr., had a fractured back last year. Didn't require surgery. Sometimes that's a mistake and the injury comes back. So we got to watch this situation. I still like Michael Pittman, but he was never as good as people wanted him to be. And I tried to scream that from the rooftops. I tried to tell everybody about Deontay Johnson. No one listened. Deontay Johnson was taken in the second round. Do you remember that? Not last year, but the year prior, right? Second round Deontay Johnson. Waddle's been going in the second round multiple years. Not now, but he was, and I can't believe it. Michael Pittman was a second to third round pick. I threw my hands up in the air. I tried to scream from the rooftops. This guy now has a fractured back, so I don't want to hear it. Is there upside at his current ADP? If it's free, maybe. But, the Michael Pittman's a wide receiver one experiment's over. George Pickens, look, Khan said this, the GM of the Steelers. Glad we have George and DK here. And that shut down, to a degree, some of the speculation that Pickens could be on the move, but did it? I don't know that I agree with that. I think this is a good move. Khan is called the Con Man for a reason. He's good at making trades. And the last thing you would want to do, and think about it yourself, right? If you're trading in fantasy, sometimes it's better to have the player you're trying to trade in your lineup, right? Like I got Joe Burrow and JD5 on one team in a dynasty league, and I'm trying to trade Joe Burrow at a reasonable price, but no one wants to trade with me in leagues that I play in for whatever reason. And I tried to trade Joe Burrow. I put Joe Burrow in my lineup, and I benched JD5 while I'm trying to trade Joe Burrow. Why? Perception. Like, he's in my lineup. You go to my team and you look around, you see Burrow on the bench, you think two things. Number one, oh, he's lesser than JD5. And you know that, but it's a subliminal thing, right? It just makes you feel bad about Burrow. He's my second best quarterback. I'm not going to give this guy anything. Second, they look at him on the bench and they say, this guy's not even using him. Why am I going to give him better weapons? So I put him in my lineup so people subliminally think I'm taking his lineup player. That's fantasy football. That's real life. That's the world, right? So George Pickens, if you're a Con, you want to make sure people think that he's not going anywhere. He's more valuable, and you're going to get more in trade if you pretend like he's not for sale. Just like when someone says, hey, what do you want for so-and-so? If I pretend he's for sale, you're going to come lowball me. If I say, I'm not trading him, you go, well, I'll give you a lot. It's posturing. So Khan is not, I don't buy that he's not looking to trade him. Another Pittsburgh Steeler, Jaylen Warren. Steelers signed Jaylen Warren to the 1-year, $5.3 million offer. He finally signed it. And basically, Tomlin came out and said today that, and again, we got about 250 YouTube people, about 200 something, Twitter people. Twitter people, go on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, follow me on YouTube. You don't want to miss out on these shows. We don't always go live on Twitter, but I go live every day on YouTube multiple times. So get on over there. And everybody on YouTube, subscribe if you're new. Hit that thumb up button. We only have 113 thumbs up and about 405 total people in here. So please hit that thumb up button. It helps the channel. Steelers, Mike Tomlin said that he has all the confidence in the world in Jaylen Warren as their number 1 running back. And he might. And he might. But you know what? He might not on draft day. He might right now. And this is what you say. The same thing the Vikings should be saying about J.J. McCarthy. Do you understand what I'm saying about the J.J. McCarthy situation? Like, even if you're going to draft an RB and you're going to lie to everybody, the right thing to say for the player is, yes, I'm very confident in them as the starter. But J.J. McCarthy doesn't get that from the Vikings. He just gets, he's no restrictions. Is he the starter? We'll see what's going on. Like, that's not the right move. It's not. And so Jaylen Warren's getting the support, but dare I say that I don't think he's going to be the lone starter. I think he's going to remain in the pass-catching role, and I think this team grabs a Scattaboo or a Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson or Judkins. Judkins, Caleb Johnson, or Scattaboo feel like they're a Pittsburgh Steeler. And the Chargers might do the same thing and kick Najee Harris's value right in the sack. So be wary of that. I've got some super chats I want to roll through. Then I'll open the phone lines. I got BBQ dropping 2 super chats right here. No, 3. 3 super chats by BBQ. Appreciate you, my boy. One, in my opinion, I think picks 1 through 10 are going to be settled with elite talent, irregardless of the teams trading in. Picks 11 through 21, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be such a fun draft. Thank you for the super chat, bro. And do you see a scenario where the Bears draft Henderson at 10? No, I do not. And then grab an early down guy later. I think Henderson deserves to be a top 10 player. You can laugh at me all you want. BBQ's asking that because he knows me pretty well at this point, even though he's new to the channel to a degree. An absolute monster to a degree. A guy that we absolutely love having around. Him and New Age Outlaw. BBQ and New Age Outlaw are so awesome that they have their own emoji. Just like Ron Navy has his own emoji. Drop the New Age Outlaw, the cowboy emoji, and the BBQ number 1 emoji. Drop them both because their stock is on the rock.
Let him cook.
But yeah, do you see a scenario? Look, I believe Henderson's got top 10 overall value. I do. Nobody else does. It is what it is. Okay, but I don't think they go. Caleb needs protection. He is the best pass protecting back in the draft, Henderson. But I think that trading down might be the maneuver if they're going to go that route. And they could trade down to just like 15 to 18 to make sure, because he's probably for sure going to go. Gump, I said I'm not taking calls until I'm done with everything. I don't think Gump listens. Gump, when I say call in, then call in. Rogers stated that he's dealing with off-the-field issues. It's not so much off-the-field issues for him. It's in his inner circle. He's not dealing, so just to clarify, he's not dealing with off-the-field issues like health or mental, stuff. It's his inner circle, he said, which indicates to me that it's his adopted family, through non-blood. This is my family, even though they're not blood, because he's doesn't talk to his family. He's so weird. So his inner circle's replaced his family, and he's having problems in his inner circle. And it could be that he's dating somebody seriously, he said. Could be her family. But just to clarify, it's not his issue. It really is the guy you want to... Is this the guy you want to trust your season to? I don't trust Rodgers. I agree with you to some degree, BBQ. But I think that at the end of the day, BBQ, I still think he's the best option for the Steelers, unless they draft Milroe. And then I'm really excited about Milroe. I really am. Thank you, BBQ, for the 3 gifted memberships. You're a monster. Jonathan says, hey, Smitty, if Travis Hunter goes to the Browns, is Cedric Tillman cooked? No, but he definitely loses a lot of value in allure. I love him in best ball right now, which you can click the link that's pinned in the live chat, the link that's in the description, and draft with us on Underdog. Smash that link. I think that you're looking at, where did I go? Where did I go? What screen was I on? Was I on this screen? No, Cook. I don't know. Where was that? Davis. Okay. But yeah, anyway, appreciate your super chat and thank you, my guy. Dark City says Ray Davis has 4 first names and not one is Ray. Ray Davis has 4 first names and not one is Ray. I don't know what that means. I don't know what we're talking about there. Sean Daly, Superflex Dynasty, trade CJ for Collins or Rice. I probably would take Collins personally, but it does depend on the QB situation. So let's keep reading. I have JD5 Fields, Milton. Love the show. Keep it up. Honestly, bro, I don't trust Stroud. And this is where, like, you're talking JD5, even Mahomes for me. I know some people don't like Mahomes. You get past those big 6-7 quarterbacks, and you get to Stroud. I don't know that Stroud feels like he's better than Fields. I don't know that Stroud feels like he's better than a quarterback that you're getting much later like Fields. And there's a handful of them I could throw out. You know, I'd much rather have Dak than Stroud because you get him at a discount. So for me, bro, given that you have Fields and then you got Milton kind of sitting there, I let it ride. I go get Nico when I do it live, personally. And if you can get more, you can. If you can get more, do it. You might not be able to, but I do that. Let me know what you think in the chat, but I do not like Stroud right now. So do it live. I know you're getting Nico, and I think he'll feed Nico, no problem, but I just don't like Stroud overall. Community question, Dynasty tight end premium, full rebuild. Thoughts on trading Hawkinson for Kelsey Gray, 1.10, 2.10. I have no use for Kelsey, but I think I can flip KC. I don't know you're going to flip the KC tight ends as easily as you can. You're in tight end premium, so maybe. I guess it would depend on what you could cook up if you could give me an example of what you think you could get for that. But at the end of the day, I don't know. You know what? I guess I do it. I like Kelsey enough for one more year, and I don't really know if Hawkinson's going to be this, like, I don't know, representation of good health and longevity anyway. So I kind of like the idea of Kelsey Gray, the 1.10 to 2.10. I think at a tight end premium and Superflex, right? I think it's Superflex. Is it? If it is, even more so. If it's not, it's okay. I think that the 1.10 is going to be a pick that right now we go, oh, it's a late first rounder. But the player that falls there, you might fall in love with, bro. And it doesn't have to be a tight end. But getting Gray is smart. And I'd try and move the 1.10 up using the 2.10. But I guess I would do that trade. Hawkinson's interesting to me. But could Kelsey and Gray be just as good for 2 years? And then does Hawkinson still have value 3 years from now? Maybe he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't play too far into the future with this. I like the idea. Do it live. Phone line's open. Now, Gump, you can call.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Yeah, that's a tough one. No trade, JMO, you haters, says Gump. Gump's so upset. Gump doesn't like logic. Gump just has his, the way he thinks about things, and there's no breaking it down. Like, he can't listen to a logical take or breakdown. Like, no one's saying JMO's for sure going to get traded. It takes a trading partner to accept and give enough for that trade to go down. So there is a chance in a world where JMO doesn't get traded. But JMO's going to need a new deal. He's causing a little drama, it sounds like, internally, and they don't know what they're going to be doing throwing the football, wise this year. So they're contemplating about swapping him out for a Ted McMillan and a Buka younger player that's going to be free for a handful of years as they try and salvage and build. And they got to worry about who's going to be their quarterback 2 or 3 years from now. Kyrie Boston, can you mute yourself while you're shuffling papers? Actually, go ahead. You're live. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kyrie Boston. Kyrie Boston, you're live. Come on, man. You're live.
I muted myself. I'm back. I muted myself. You just said mute myself.
Okay, go.
I was gonna say, man, I was wondering why they trying. I was wondering what you just said. Why they gonna trade JMO? But now that you just said it, Like, I just don't understand. He's kind of young. I feel like he needs one more year to prove himself.
Hey, but you're paying him. He's gonna require you to give him like 27 to $30 million a year. Like, if you pay him next offseason, his 25, 27 probably projected number now will be easily 30 plus next year. You know, Jamo's going to, especially if he blows up, if he's as good as you think he can be. But you got to ask yourself the question is Igbokwe a fresh young rookie, if you can get that somehow, better than Jamo? Or is a wide receiver like Jameson Williams and some extra stuff or whatever going to be a better option for you? You just got to look into that. You got to look into it, especially when he is not even the second receiving option on the team, on a team that no longer has Ben Johnson, that no longer will throw exactly the same. So your number one pass catcher is
Laporta gets more he gets more targets than Williams.
I think it's going to be debatable that if Jamo does beat him out, he still could be the more red zone friendly target. So he's going to be at some capacity not the third option on the team. Maybe in some aspects he could be, but you're talking about St. Brown locked as the number one target getter. You've got Jahmyr Gibbs now getting more and more and more work, and Laporta, and now Jamo, and you got to pay him. And this is this is potentially your fourth overall option to go to. I like him. I love Jamo. If Jamo, as you may have heard me or not heard me at the beginning of the show, this is not a Jamo hate session. If Jamo goes and gets traded to the New England Patriots,
stock on the rise.
Dude's going to be a third-round pick.
I agree with that, too. I agree with that, Smitty, because, I want him to stay in Detroit, but, like, if he comes to New England, I think that New England Patriots could really use him.
Yeah. I mean, Williams would be he'd be unbelievable in as a number one target. You know, there's some risk to it. Like, could he be not quite, top 8 wide receiver material? And this looks a little bit like T. Higgins would look if he went somewhere, where he's almost, in some cases, like if you put Williams on the Bengals and T. Higgins left, let's say, in a fairy tale world, in a Spider-Verse, I think Williams would be better in Cincinnati than he would in New England by himself. That's how good Joe Burrow in the Bengals offense treats their number 2 wide receiver. So May has to work out. The New England Patriots have to do enough to protect him and all that. But Williams would immediately help offensive line production. He's stretching the field. He's one of the faster wide receivers in the league. This is an unbelievable step and this is just my rumor. We haven't even heard New England's involved. But this is just my speculation that the New England Patriots, who've been craving a running back addition all offseason, and then they bring in Diggs. I get it, but this is somebody that if they went and got him, I'd feel very confident that New England's serious. But they probably won't. New England Patriots, are they serious people? I don't know. We'll find out.
Can I ask you about Cook, too?
The Bills would be great. Yeah, go ahead.
James Cook? Yeah, because James Cook, I feel like I'm kind of split with him. He had 16 touchdowns for me last season. He did pretty good on the
I already explained all that. I mean, you can still believe what you believe, but I mean, I broke all that down.
I understand that his statistics went down. I heard how you made the breakdown. It was real good, but I'm like, it kind of leaves me a little split because I do know that a lot of times them touchdowns might dip. Like, you can't hold up 16 touchdowns every year. The guy had
in the previous 2 seasons. Let me put this in perspective. So in 2 years, in 2022 and 2023. The guy had 4 rushing touchdowns in 2 years, his first 2 years. Ray Davis had 3 of them last year. So it's an anomaly. His 18 touchdown season is an anomaly. I'm not saying it's an impossibility for him to replicate double digit or even 12, I'm not saying it is, but he's holding in or holding out. And this is a mess. You have multiple red flags. When multiple red flags are presented, that's when it's time to go shopping for another player.
Can I say one thing, though?
Yeah.
I think it might have something to do with them having Josh Allen as their quarterback. He does a lot of running for the team. So I don't think they give they feed James Cook enough, on the
Well,
run
that's
back
why it's
tip.
an anomaly. It's an anomaly. You gotta understand that. Yeah, he's not gonna be. They were just very uniquely and almost It's not a replication. You can't replicate it very easily. Efficiency for Cook when he got the ball, but he wasn't. This is a player that was really bad in certain aspects of his game, though. At certain points in the game, like especially at the like for half of each game, he was very, very bad. There's a lot of crazy.
Is that the contact and stuff like that?
Well, I think that he's not consistent throughout the entirety of the game. Half of a game he's amazing. The other half he's very, very bad because the offense is very different and it's not predictable. All right, Kyrie, anything else?
You had spoke about Christian McCaffrey. I wanted to say I'm scared of that dude, man. I don't even know why we've been talking about it.
Because he's going in the second round, Kyrie Boston. We have to talk about it. And he's in the news today.
He's in the second round? People, that's what blows my mind. People are still taking him that high.
All right, Kyrie Boston, appreciate you. Call back in a little bit when we have a few more people on the line. We'll do a little panel session. Dial into the phone line. Appreciate Kyrie Boston calling in. Thank you, pal. Here's the phone line. Hit the number.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Okay, we got, let's see here. We got this celebratory question message from my boy New Age Outlaw who says, hope JMO goes to our boy Ronnie Bell. So our boy Ronnie Bell gets a shot. Oh, okay, yeah. Ronnie Bell. Yeah, I like Ronnie Bell, actually. That would be interesting. But I think they would probably draft a rookie, but you never know. That rookie might not necessarily grab a hold of the starting job if they do trade JMO away and they draft a late, guy. Kobo with another super chat says, how high are you on Gray as a stash? I'm pretty high on him. If I remember correctly, he had a pretty good year considering. Noah Gray. Let me pull up his stats and drop him on screen. Very intriguing player. Very intriguing player. This is kind of a good year for a backup tight end that may or may not get called upon to do more damage. I'll pull up his game log in a second, but here's Noah Gray's stats from last year. Pretty interesting. 437 and 5 TDs. Pretty good for a tight end. 40 receptions. That is a very, very sneaky tight end play. That's why I like the Gray and Kelsey combo, because if Kelsey fails, then Gray should step up, and it's a very safe move. Whereas you could have potentially Hawkinson get hurt, and then you never see him again. The only thing I will say is Gray vanished during the playoffs. He had a putrid 2024 playoff run. 15 yards and 0 TDs through 3 games, bro. So he's not ready, yet to be Mr. Consistency. But Kelsey drops off, then his opportunities go up. So here's his playoff numbers. 3 receptions in the Houston game and 0 in the Buffalo game. And then the Philly game, the Super Bowl, he had 2 yards on 1 target, 1 reception. So intriguing player, no doubt about it. And there were some stretches where this is probably like an example of, these are back-to-back games, Carolina and Buffalo. So it's not like Buffalo has his number, by the way. It's just, it comes down to opportunities. He basically had, let me just read it off. Targets, he had 1, 0, 3, 1, 1, 1, the final, 7 games that he played, including playoffs. But before that, he was getting a lot of run. And when he got a lot of run, like 4, 5, 6 targets a game, he was producing 50 and 60 and 23 to 30 receiving yards, 66 yards a game, with multiple touchdown games mixed in there. So if you look at like, for example, this 2-game stretch where he's getting the targets of a Travis Kelce, because Travis Kelce was kind of in the middle of like a slump. Gump, you got to mute yourself, or I hang up on you. You can't just into the phone line and try and interrupt me. We know that's what you do, so that I'll say, Gump, you want to talk? So now you're getting hung up on. Gump, call back and mute yourself. I hear kids in the background. You're grunting like crazy. Mute yourself for 1 second, Gump. I'll be right there. 4 receptions, 66 yards and 2 TDs in November against the Panthers. And the game prior to that against the Buffalo Bills, 5 receptions, 23 yards, 2 touchdowns. When Gray is used, he's actually really, really, really good. A really good player that could potentially be someone that has standalone sleeper value as a tight end 3 in best ball, where I do draft multiple tight ends in best ball. In one QB, I don't, but in best ball, he's a great tight end to grab. All right, let me go over to real quickly. Hang tight, guys. Marsman Rockout has a Marsman card, so he leapfrogs ahead of you guys. Marsman with the Marsman card, you jump in front of the other 2 guys. Go ahead, Marsman Rockout. Hello.
I think Cook's in basically a perfect situation, and he's basically overvaluing himself. And as far as CMC, doesn't look too well, but we'll see what happens with him. But if free agency is our Christmas, what is draft day for you?
Draft day is Christmas Eve. Or something. I don't know. Halloween. Yeah, I can't wait, man. Draft day. I haven't watched draft day yet this week. I usually watch it 3-4 times before. So tonight I'm watching it. Tonight I stream it 2 or 3 times while I work on some stuff and get some prep done. But yeah, I can't wait, bro. It's going to be exciting. All right, hold on 1 second there, Rockout. Mute yourself. Let me go over to the Gumpmeister. Go ahead, Gump.
How we doing, Smitty?
What's up, Gump?
I just want to wish everybody a half draft day for their teams.
Okay.
And there's all you haters that hate on the Lions, I'm wishing you guys a happy draft day for your team.
Why do people have to hate on? Why do people hate on the Lions? Who's hating on the Lions?
I don't know, but no. They want to trade Jamo. Jamo ain't going nowhere.
Okay, well, hold on a second. Let's talk this through real quickly. Gump, let's talk this through. Mm-hmm. What makes you think Jamo's not getting traded? Because you don't want it to happen.
Because my nephew Zach over here says he's not getting traded.
Oh, and how's Zach know?
He's really smart. Here, say hi, Zach. He said hello.
Don't put it. Yeah, hello, Zach. We appreciate you. Don't put Zach in that situation, bro. Zach, don't put Zach.
Said they're not getting traded.
Okay, I'm not gonna say a negative thing about Zach's take or Zach, so I'm not going there. But Gump, you know better than to just use this kind of logic on this channel when you say that Gump, I'm Gump, and Jamo's not getting traded because I don't want it to happen. Jamo could get traded. The news isn't good. He's clearing his social media and he's putting cryptic posts up on social media. There's definitely a concern here, Gump. This is not something.
You got trouble, Zach.
It's not like there's a nothing burger situation going on here. There's actually some legitimate concern, and I'll put up the. I don't know if you saw the beginning of the show, but there's.
I could.
Okay, so he put up on Instagram, loyalty before any and everything, and he put some hearts that are on fire. Clearly he's emotional right now. He cleared his social media. There's no Lions at all mentioned anywhere. He's putting all this up, and the Lions are refusing to shoot down the rumors that he potentially could get traded. Whereas other teams like the Steelers are saying, no, we're not trading George Pickens. He put, if you're scared to pick a side, don't play in the middle. Just get all the way out of the way. No faking. He's going crazy on social media, upset about something, Gump. It could be something unrelated, but awfully convenient that this gets dropped in the middle of rumors of him being traded.
Zach's over there shaking his head no.
Well, that's the truth, Gump. Appreciate you. All right,
How
Gump.
How do you, Zach? How do you know? He says you don't even know what you're saying. He's over there eating the Kentucky Fried Chicken. We're doing Kentucky Fried
Gump,
Chicken.
mute yourself before you get Red X off the show for the rest of the show. Just
all right.
Stop. All right. Let me go over to John. John, you're live. Then I'll go over to 901 caller after that. But John, the 619 caller, you're live.
Front door.
Ziggy, show me the front door. Go ahead.
Okay.
John. 619 caller, go ahead. Okay, John, you're gone, John. Okay, 901 caller, you're live. Be ready, guys. And don't ask, can you hear me? Am I coming in clear? You're wasting time. Just start talking.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Go ahead, 901.
Yeah, this is Mike from San Diego. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the Jacksonville Genty situation. A lot of people think it's going to be a bad situation for him, but I think it's the opposite. And I think I prefer it over the Raiders personally with what they're building in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, what Liam Cohen did with Bucky, you can't not like it. You know, this is a pretty darn good situation. If I had to rank it,
I think everyone's just super sour on Trevor. I think they're a little too sour.
Well, I think Bigsby's going to be amazing if he does end up being, in a position to get the starting job. But Genty goes there. They got to trade Etienne away, and then Bigsby's the best handcuff in the NFL. But you hope that he never gets used if you have Genty. All right, so Genty landing spots. I think my favorite spots. I think my favorite spot is probably, if I've got to rank it, and it's not likely, so I'm going to even put an X through it, is Washington. Like, I would want him to go to Washington. I just think it would be amazing, but he's not going there. So at the end of the day, let's even erase that. Let's go likely landing spots. Denver is in play. This is Alvin Kamara all over again. If Sean Payton can trade in the spot, it's and you're not going to trade him. The fears we have of rotating is not there in present if it's Genty. If he's got these other, arsenal of players, it can be, hard to predict which players he's going to start. Ziggy off. It's hard to predict which players he's going to play. Like it certainly is. Like Javonte got screwed, McLaughlin, and you got Estime, and he's just rotating through. So he's a little bit on the surface level for a lot of people that don't know Sean Payton's history very well. They're going to be scared to death of Denver in some ways. And is there a risk that he still rotates to some degree? Yeah, but only the same way that Monty plays, or the same way that other players play to keep players fresh. If Genty's in Denver, he's getting like 18 to 22, carries a game. Like, it's going to be fine. He's explosive. He can't be brought.
That's all you need.
Yeah, you don't want him taking the ball 25, 30 times a game. So if they do run that much, they got to have a complement. So Denver is probably the best spot. I'd probably say after Denver, I mean, LV is really good. I like LV a lot. Cleveland is very sneaky. And the way that Ford
Tell me why LV over Jacksonville. That's what I want to know. Why LV over Jacksonville?
You got Bowers. You've got Pete, who, when he loves a back, he runs that one player. He doesn't do a committee. He loved Walker. He was fully committed to Walker. Walker couldn't stay healthy. Pete loves to run the football. This is the GM loves to run the football. The GM, I think this entire organization would build around Genty and Bowers, but specifically Genty. It's a good spot. It's a really good spot. But I will say the reason Jacksonville looks cloudy is because they would have 3 running backs on the roster. But like Detroit, the moment they trade or get rid of ETN, then it clears up and it's no problem. So
that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah. So Jacksonville and LV are kind of tied. Like this is here both really good spots. And Liam Cohen and I
personally think Cohen wouldn't use him in a committee as much as we think. Obviously Bigsby would get his touches, but I don't think it'd be a 50-50.
No. No one's drafting Genty and putting him in an actual committee.
Yeah.
Your 3 spot is probably going to be. This is so tough because it's probably Dallas. Not as likely to grab Genty at all, obviously. But Jerry's weird, and Jerry's been saying he's going to make a trade, so who knows? But that's not likely. The next spot for me, looking over all of the potential landing spots, I think you got to look at New York. I think New York Giants would be a great landing spot. I'm going to probably say actually, I'm going to probably say Cleveland, then New York Giants. I'll go like that. Cleveland's 4.
You think the Giants take him at 3, or do you think they move back?
I think they would if they decided that that's the guy they got to take. Sure, but I don't. They can move down a spot or 2. So Denver, Jacksonville, and LV tied. Jacksonville and LV tied. Let me put this on the board here. Denver, then a tie of Jacksonville, LV, Dallas, Cleveland, the Giants. I know all the Bears people. Bears are still in the mix, but I'm going to put New Orleans here. And then probably, and I might be missing somebody, then probably Chicago 7. So Chicago's in the top 7 landing spots. Let me put it down below so you can read it. They're in the top 7 landing spots. That's giving them respect. But I think this is the last place I want him to go of the best landing spots. They're in the best landing spot grouping. I just don't want him to go there. And it's not because of bias. It's because this is not a serious football team. So, and Ben Johnson can only do so much. You know, he's handcuffed by one of the worst GMs in the league. So, we'll see. We'll see. Genty is in Jacksonville will be amazing. All right, hang tight. Mute yourself. And I got to go to the other caller who actually hung up. So let me go back to Gump real quick. Gump, what else you got, Gump?
Well, Smitty, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Well, Zach's 37. I thought you guys were about the same age. I'm just saying, you guys,
I turn 21 next month, and I'll be able to
yeah, whatever.
Sip on a grandpa's
anyway,
old cough medicine for the first time.
It's at the front door.
Well,
Ziggy off.
Well, anyway, I wanted to do that draft thing. You know what I mean? Tonight, I want to get into a big league. You know, a big draft where we can win $1 million.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah. Join me on Underdog.
All
right. Hey, I got it. We might do it tonight. Guys, I got to close the phone line. I'll be back. I'm going to be leaving for the rest of the evening. I'm sorry. I got to cut it short here. I'll be back tonight. We'll be drafting live tonight on Underdog. Thank you all for your super chats. I'll be back in about, I would say, about two and a half hours, maybe 2 to 2.5 hours. So appreciate all of you. Sorry I had to dump the phone line. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm live whenever news breaks. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live every single Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Additionally, live whenever big news breaks. And live most midnights on the channel. So potentially we're live, freaking 3 times a day. That's how we roll. Appreciate you all. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I thought I had to leave. I don't have to leave. Because I thought I had to take care of something. Miss Smitty just came home. She's got it all handled. So dial back in. Phone lines are open. We're not going anywhere.
Let him cook.
We're not leaving. Okay, hold on, Rock Out. Let me merge these callers back on the phone line. I thought we were leaving. We're not leaving. Can you mute the show guy? If the show's in the background, I'm hanging up on you. So let me just merge all these calls together. Let me get the phone line going. We decided we're not going. So anybody dipped out, shame on them. Okay, go ahead. Let's see. Rock Out, you're live.
Yeah,
20 gifted men.
Yeah, Peter's trying to confuse the media on his trade options. If Carter fell to 27, you trade up even though he won't make it there.
If Carter fell to what? For some reason.
If Carter fell to 27, Peter's like, I might trade up for him even though he knows he won't be there.
Carter
from Penn State.
Oh, I don't think he falls there.
Yeah, he's like kind of trolling the media.
No. Yeah, no, I'm not. He's not falling, bro. Abdul Carter? Yeah, he's not falling.
Yeah.
No, he's not falling, bro. He could go.
Yeah,
I mean, look at my mock draft. I got Carter going 3. He ain't falling. But he could fall a little bit. He could slip a little bit, but no, he's not. BBQ dropping 20 gifted memberships. New Age dropping 20 gifted memberships. We're not going anywhere. We got 208 in the building. We lost about 50 people on YouTube because I said we were out of here, and then we lost 50 people. We're not going anywhere. All right, Rock Out. Anything else right now? You don't have to go, but just what else you got?
Go to the next person.
Okay. Rock Out to the moon. Rock Out. Who are the Commanders drafting at 29 real quick?
If he falls, either Henderson or the defensive end from Boston College.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a real good shot. It's Henderson. I really think that Adam Peters, he knows ball so well. He's not going to pass on the best pass protector in the running back class in 2025. This is about JD5. I agree with you. Igbuka could be an option, though. If Denver takes Trey Henderson at 20, which Denver could do. So that's a tough one. All right, hold on, Rock Out. Stay right there. 619 caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Johnny 777 in the chat.
All right, what's up, John?
From San Diego.
What's up, Johnny? What can I do for you?
So I had Keenan Allen a couple years ago when he was doing really good on the Chargers, and he was like number one for weeks. And I just think that if we were to get Jameson down there with Justin Herbert, that he might out Keenan Allen if he were to make that trade to LA. What do you think about that?
I think that a lot of Charger fans, and don't take us the wrong way, feel like your passing attack is going to be a bigger staple of that Harbaugh system than it really is. I think Herbert is handcuffed. I'm not saying Herbert isn't great. I love Herbert. We were big proponents of Herbert at the beginning of his career, and I still love him. If you got traded to Minnesota, I think he'd blow up with JJ. But you have Harbaugh who's going to limit him, and you have, a Lab McConkey who's going to be a target hog already. I think J-Mo doesn't go up in value in LAC. I think he goes down in value from fantasy perspective. I don't think it's like crazy different, but I just don't see how Herbert in what Harbaugh wants to be a run heavy offense is going to be better than in Detroit where he's comfortable. St. Brown's kind of an injury prone player. There's some of that allure as well. Laporta's been injured. But I just don't think – I like Herbert a lot. If Ladd wasn't there, sure. But I don't think you're going to get the passing you think you're getting, at least consistency. They want to run the ball.
I can see that. And I also wanted to ask you about I haven't heard you talk much. Maybe I've missed it. Wide receiver Luther Burden III.
Love him.
What's your thoughts on him?
Love him. We have a mock draft here. Let me see if I can find it and pull it up. I think it's right here. I think this is. Yeah, here's the mock draft here. We've got Genty, Henderson, Hampton, Hunter, Igbuka, Scatteraboo, Warren. I have Luther Burden over McMillan. I got Luther Burden tied with Matthew Golden, and the only reason he's not above Matthew Golden is because I think teams want him very badly, so he could land in a very good spot. But Luther Burden could be the second best receiver in this draft class. I think he's probably behind Igbuka, but I think him and Igbuka are, honestly, I'll do it right now. Matthew Golden, move him down to 8, tied with McMillan. I'll put Burden by himself. I think Burden is a much better player than Matthew Golden. I think Burden's a much better player than Ted McMillan. I think Burden in the right spot, that's the problem, though. That's why I've got McMillan and Golden flirting with the higher fantasy capital. It's because it seems like teams like these guys better. But it's hard to know, what happens. Because if players fall, McMillan's been falling a lot, then they could fall into better situations. Like McMillan could fall into a better situation by slipping, so it's tough to know. Burden could land in an amazing environment. Burden could land in, let's take a look at some of the NFL landing spots. Thank you for all these gifted memberships, guys. Like he could land in a, let's see here. Maybe let me mute the sound effects here. I mean, look, Dallas could look at Burden, and I don't know that Dallas is the best place because I want him to go be a 1, but what if he goes to the Green Bay Packers and becomes the 1 overall? Luther Burden feels like a great play for the Green Bay Packers. I think that Green Bay or Buffalo are probably the 2 best outcomes for Luther Burden. And when you break down the likelihood that Luther Burden falls into that situation versus a McMillan, it's highly likely. Burden 23, very, very likely. Buffalo could get him at 30. It's very possible. Luther Burden had a bad year last year, so a lot of people are down on him, and they're wondering why, he dropped off. And there's not some off the field questions, but there's some questions that teams have had about him, and that's why he's falling. So 30 or 23, he has a better shot at landing here than with these bad teams. So McMillan and Golden are going to probably go to bad teams. Maybe this Carolina Panthers situation is quietly good though. But you have McMillan, and if McMillan goes to Dallas, let's say, that's not a bad team, but that's the number 2 wide receiver. So there's some limitations that he can never climb up and be a star, you know. Whereas, or Arizona,
right?
Let's say one of the top 2 wide receivers goes. Let's say Golden goes to the Cardinals. I can see that happening. And Cardinals have been wanting another wide receiver for a while. So if he goes there, he's not going to be better than MHJ. There's no way. And McBride, you got a lot going on there. So Buffalo, Washington, and Green Bay, high likelihood of being in the Burden sweepstakes. What else you got?
And one last thing. What do you think about Jack Besh?
Yeah, I mean, I like him. He's definitely like being talked about a lot right now. A lot of people, you know, I'm going to be bold and talk about him right now. I mean, he's got some hype, but we'll see where he lands. Again, a lot depends on where these players. Mute yourself real quickly.
He came out of the womb.
Elgin,
everything.
Elgin, mute yourself if you could. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Everything really depends on where these teams draft these guys and if they're drafted into positions to start. When players go to landing spots where the starting job or the number 1 wide receiver role is an impossibility, like in Dallas, like in Jacksonville, it's going to limit the player's value. You can only be so good when you play next to BTJ. You can only be so good if you play next to Lamb. So a lot of it depends on that. All right, my boy. I'll see you later. Appreciate you calling.
Yeah,
my turn.
Okay, let me go. No, let me go over to 301 caller and then over to Gump. 301. What's your name and where are you calling from?
It's Elgin Smitty calling from Maryland.
Are we in a closet? Are we in the pantry? What's going on?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I mean, we can hear you better now, but you're like, hey, it's Elgin.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
What can I do
I
for
just
you?
want to know your take on. I just want to know your take on Jalen Noel.
Yeah.
From Iowa State.
Yeah, I like him. There's so many players in that territory that are the same player. We're just waiting for landing spots to be handed out. There's no way to really know if Noel or even a guy in that range. Let me go to my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings where you can get your year-round fantasy football rankings, bold predictions, trade calculator, year-round rankings, rookie rankings, super rookie rankings. I don't say, hey, I'm going to put my rankings up after the draft. They've been up since January. The rookie rankings have been up. The rookies are mingled with the overall rankings since January. I don't wait until landing spots. I just adjust them. Like, it drives me nuts when people can't be bold enough to rank a damn player before landing spot. But we look at like Isaiah Bond, Jaden Higgins, Savion Williams, Trey Harris. Like, those guys are in, even the Noels and Tez Johnsons and Torrey Horton. There's a lot of guys. Royals. It's endless where they're all really, really close. Of all those guys, I like Higgins and Isaiah Bond and Kyle Williams and Savion Williams and Trey Harris best. And those are all very, very close.
Okay, so you is big on Isaiah Bonds. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if Bond can, like, after Golden and Burden and all those guys, I think this is probably I'll put it on screen. This is probably, I don't know if this is a guaranteed lock of the order, but these are probably the next guys up that I love. Let me put this on screen here. These are probably the next receivers up after the obvious Goldens, and it's Kyle Williams, Isaiah Bond, Jaden Higgins, and any one of them could rank above the other with the landing spot. Like, Higgins could be a monster if he goes somewhere like New England to be the number 1, or Savion Williams could be unreal if he goes to the Washington Commanders and ferments behind Deebo Samuel and becomes Deebo Samuel in 1 to 2 years, and he plays pretty well right now. Trey Harris could be great. Like, Bond is amazing, probably in some ways better than Matthew Golden, but he's got that case against him now, the legal matter the domestic thing.
Right.
So we'll see how far that drops him. But like I can see like a team like KC because he's in trouble. He's a troubled wide receiver according to the alleged reports. And it sounds like he could be innocent, and he's trying to fight this right now. So we got to give him that benefit of the doubt for sure. But Isaiah Bond, if he drops, can you imagine KC getting their hands on this kid? Like, wow. I could just see it too. I can see it right now. I can see the memes. Oh, of course they draft troubled Isaiah Bond. He's, out on bond. Who's going to pick him up? Who's going to pick him up? Rashee Rice? Pick him up from... All right. What else you got real quick, bro?
Yeah, so I'm looking at Jalen Noel. He kind of remind me of a Lad McConkey and somewhat like a Randall Cobb a little bit. So I like what I see with him, though, man. You said, it's all about landing spot. He's all explosive, good out for the catch. Yeah, I like what I see with him. Though,
not afraid. Again, I'm not afraid to rank people, but I just, with that group, it's like anything can happen. Like I could come out and make a bold, stupid statement about, Trey Harris will be the number 4 wide receiver in the draft class. And then the landing spot's horrible, and I have to, redo it. These are stabs in the dark right now, but I can group them together and say they're very damn close. Like in auction dollars, which is how I rank these guys. Essentially, they're all pretty much the same dollar amount. So once the landing spots get handed out, you're going to see dollar amounts change for them, and that's the same thing with my trade calculator. When you plug in a trade, it tells you based on auction dollars. So if you're trying to trade Jahmyr Gibbs at, let's call it, $85 for a potential, wide receiver like JMO, who's going to cost, $35 to $40, you got a whole bunch more dollar value to still add on a 2-for-1. And so my trade calculator, go over there and check it out, guys. TheFantasyFootballShow.com.
I got you.
Link in the description.
Okay.
All right. What else? Anything else, bro?
So I got the first pick overall in the Taiwan championship. Gibbs or Bijan. First overall pick. I'm going with either one of them. I don't know which one I want to go with though.
I waver.
I know you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
I know you left both of them.
I think that I think because of there's nothing changing for the potential bad in Atlanta. Things are only going up. Detroit were a little worried about Ben Johnson. I'm not saying that Gibbs falls off, but I just feel like Bijan's a little safer. And the way Bijan finished, Gibbs finished amazing too. Like when we did the video of who's the number 1 overall pick, and I said it's Bijan. Look at this. And I told everyone, I go, by the time we get to Gibbs at 2, I'm going to switch it. Watch me. And so we go over Bijan. Bijan finished the year with Penix in the lineup, obviously, at the end of it. But 2 touchdowns rushing, 2 touchdowns rushing, 2 touchdowns rushing. He had back-to-back 2 touchdown rushing games to finish it off. But then Gibbs had that 4 TD game. So it's like they're both so amazing. But give me Bijan slightly right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now. I love them both.
Smitty.
But if it's one, hold on,
Smitty.
Kyrie, hold on. But it's 1.1, I'm probably going to Chase. But that's me. If it's PPR. If it's non-PPR, I go Bijan. But if it's PPR, I'd probably go Jamar Chase. Mainly because I think you can get that Bucky and Kyron at the turn picks in some cases. Maybe not in grandma leagues because they don't know that.
No. This league a little too competitive. I don't think they can make it the best.
Well, look, the best ball is more competitive than that league. And best ball has Kyron late, but they're just wide receiver hungry. It's just different communities. But I wouldn't say it's more competitive. Right. I just think that.
Oh no! Wait! You said Cameron. No, you said Bucky Irvin. I said Bucky ain't gonna make it back to me.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes it's the grandma leagues that actually value it more accurately because you have these brainwashed mentalities that just keep getting plugged out there in fantasy channel out there, and these content creators saying you go wide receiver in best ball. And so you just have a kind of I think a brainwashed mentality of over evaluating wide receivers. But it affects the availability of wide receivers, so sometimes you get screwed out of that. But I don't know that it doesn't mean it's right. But anyway, Like Kyron in a grandma league, no, it's like a mullet that goes out of style and then comes back in style, but you've still been wearing it the whole time. Kyron at 2.3 in a grandma league, they have no idea they dipped down to the third round. Like, so they're just taking him at this amazing value that he actually deserves, but it's not because of the same thing anyway.
When it's in the same league that we're talking about, I got him in the third round. So I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I definitely sold him though. So
all right, Elgin, I appreciate you. Later.
All right.
Hold on, don't let him go. Yo, Smitty.
What?
Hold on. I need to ask Elgin the question.
He's gone. You can talk.
Man.
Whisper.
See, that's what I was trying to cut you off. I need to ask him what type of league was he in. Like, I'm confused right now. He said he won the championship and he has the number 1 pick. I need to know if he was in a dynasty redraft. What type of league was that?
Obviously not a dynasty.
Huh?
He's obviously not in a dynasty.
I'm just confused. He's
Don't worry about it. Why don't we move on to your question?
He won the championship.
Why don't we move on?
That was my question. That was my question. I needed to know what type of league that was.
Kyrie, move on. We no one's confused about it. He plays in multiple leagues.
My other question, my original question is on Devin Neal.
Yeah, Devin Neal is a good player that needs a great landing spot. We're talking about so many good running backs. We get into that Devin Neal, that Jarquez Hunter, that Cam Scatteraboo territory. You're going to run out of landing spots. There are only so many teams that need a starting RB, and Devin Neal probably won't have the draft capital to command one of those spots. And that could change in the coming days. It could change by one dancing partner just wanting to dance with Devin Neal. But right now, you look at these teams.
Can I say something about it, though?
Sure, interrupt. Go ahead. You asked me a question. I'm trying to explain it to you.
Your boy DC, man, had to go watch him. You know, I went and seen Devin Neal play, and he reminds me of Kyron Williams and James White.
He's
a
a
split
good player.
between them two players.
He's a good player, but go watch Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson is much better. Like, you go watch Cam Scatteraboo. He's much better.
Devin O'Neal.
It's not O'Neal.
Dylan
it's
Sampson.
Neal. I said, go watch Dylan Sampson, and you'll tell me. Go watch Dylan Sampson live on the show right now. No, don't turn the volume up, but mute yourself. Watch Dylan Sampson. I'm going to come back to you, and you tell me Dylan Sampson isn't better than Devin Neal. Okay, assignment. Go do it. Mute yourself. Watch Dylan Sampson highlights. Okay. I'll come back to you, and if you aren't blown away and say you're right, he's better than Neal, I'll be shocked. Okay, so mute yourself real quickly. Let me go over to Travis.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute. Mute. I'm gonna go ahead and mute and do that.
Travis, go ahead. You're live.
Hey, what's up? I missed the beginning of the show, so I got to go back. But what did you say the Lions would probably be looking for? You think?
Kyrie Boston, mute yourself, please. Go ahead, Travis. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
He's gonna get
I was just saying that I got to go back and
watch. Smitty, I muted myself. That was someone else. I was on mute.
Okay, go ahead, Travis.
Yeah. What did you say? What the Lions would be looking for? Do you think, or in return?
No, we didn't really go into that.
What the market would be for him?
No, we didn't go into that too much. We said Pickens would be interesting. Pickens and Williams swap. But the reason why that was just somebody threw it out there. The reason that wouldn't work is because it's the Lions are all about getting rid of the contract and the desire for that. Like, they want to get a free rookie. They want to go get a Egbuka, a Luther Burden. Can you imagine trading Jameson Williams out for a free Luther Burden? Like, if that is possible, that would be an unreal move, because Burden's phenomenal. And, Williams, there's clearly some problems inside the locker room and, inside the organization regarding Williams. That's obviously part of this issue. It's not like they just are worried about the contract, but when a player is a problem inside the locker room, it appears, or he's having some moments. He's stripping his social media of anything Lions. He's clearly going through something with the team, and they're obligated to get rid of him to get something or pay him. They've got to make a decision, and that's when the breaking point is potentially in play. But we'll see. He's a talented player, a very talented player. But to reset the clock on the contract and get Luther Burden on a rookie deal now versus overpaying for JMO when you have no idea what your situation
I'm ready.
is like, it's don't mind Gump.
I'm ready.
Gump, okay, Gump, hold on a second. Travis is talking.
Why?
The adults are talking right now. Hold on a second.
Well, I only got a couple minutes before Zach goes to bed. You got to tell him what I got to do.
He's 37 years old. Why does Zach got to go to bed early? Why you got to tuck Zach in when he's 37
because
years old?
he's got to get up in the morning and go work. He's got a big meeting.
Okay, Travis, do you mind if before he tucks Zach into bed, can we talk to?
No. Go,
okay.
Go for it, Gump.
Okay.
Go and then tuck Zach in.
Gump. Go ahead, Gump.
Tell Zach what I got to do. He's about ready to go to bed.
Tell Zach. I don't know what are you talking about?
I'm going to do the best ball thing. I got to do the best ball thing. What do I got to do?
Oh, you sign up for Best Ball. You click this link right here. It's in the live chat pin, but here it is again. I dropped it right there. Click that link. Sign up. $10 minimum. Use that link. That link will insert code Smitty.
Right here.
You can get up to $1,000.
What do I got to do?
Just click that link and sign up on Underdog. It's a $10 minimum. That's it. Just click the link.
So what's that mean?
It means you're going to be signed up on. It means you're going to be signed up. I think Zach. Poor Zach.
Oh, you want me to press it now?
Yeah, press it now. Don't. Press it now.
Okay.
All right. Mute yourself and sign up. It walks you through it. It walks you, inserts code Smitty for you. You'll see Smitty inserted. That can get you a match or a bonus, of.
It says get, so I got to get the app.
Yeah. Just click the link and follow the instructions.
Get.
All right, Gump,
Okay,
mute yourself. Mute yourself. Just go through that process. It's trying to walk you through it step by step. Sign up. Takes like 2 minutes. All right, mute yourself, please.
Help me.
Gump, I'm in the middle of a show. It's a link, man. It's a link. You click the link and it says download the app. You download it and then it just has you sign up real quick. It's step by step. It says, what's your name? You type it in.
Or if I have questions, I'll mute myself and go through it.
Thank you, Gump.
Can I ask you a question? One more question?
Yes, Gump.
If I do the $1,000, that's a one-time thing. I can only get matched one time.
They'll match you up to $1,000 in bonus credit. I don't know. They're not matching you dollar for dollar. There's just up to $1,000. I don't know how they're exactly giving. So just do the $10 minimum or whatever you want, and you should get some sort of bonus credit in your account. But they will.
So you're gonna do a draft.
Gump. I'm gonna hang up on you. I'm in the middle of a show, Gump. You click the link and do it. Just do a $10 minimum. You don't have to sign up with a big amount. This is it. Mute yourself, please. Okay. BBQ with the $20 hauler says first off season here, and I'm having a blast. The show and community are so much fun. I can only imagine the NFL draft is like in this place. Thank you for all you do, Smitty. I'm appreciating this man right here. $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Gump's got two X's. Oh, you got saved. Okay, BBQ, thank you for your super chat. Johnny777. Johnny says, Smitty, why don't you get new software or equipment where you can mute everybody on your own? I'm down to help out. Johnny, I appreciate that with the $7.77 super chat. I've got the best equipment money could buy. I appreciate that. Every super chat helps and it improves the experience. Like I am always investing in this thing. So if you're super chatting, it is helping me make things as wonderful of an experience as you can get. But do you see another channel that has the tech that this channel has? Do you see another channel taking live phone calls at all? The amount, and Johnny, you wouldn't know this, but the amount of impossible combinations of things putting together in a live stream, it's not as simple as you think. Like your boy's doing everything that is required. There's just, you have to have a lot of things play nice with each other, and I can promise you, Johnny, that we're not hampered by Mickey Mouse software or anything. So I appreciate that. But everything you do drop in super chats helps the channel grow, and we're constantly improving things. I mean, from the studio that I built here after, you know, about two and a half years of doing the channel, reinvested, built the studio. So appreciate you, Johnny. All right, go ahead, Travis.
Oh yeah, I was just curious on what you thought it might cost to get a Jameson Williams.
I mean,
obviously draft is
second
coming up. And,
I mean, would it be a second?
What?
Would it be a second? Could they get a second?
I was thinking probably a second because
young.
What is he? He only like 24.
Yeah.
He's not that old. He's not that old yet, obviously.
I mean,
and he just had his first 1,000-yard season. He hasn't had any like big like issues like Pickens in terms of like being a malcontent and complaining. You know, he's had some issues off the field with a couple little suspensions, but so I think a second would be warranted.
Yeah, I think it would. You have to pay him too, so you can't expect a first. But yeah, inbox offer 12 team start 10 super flex. So super flex 12 team. Josh Allen 1.1 for Gump. I think I need to pay up for my guy Gump for life. Okay, so Masters is playing around, trolling on that. I like it. Thank you for the super chat. Always appreciate it. You can troll on a super chat anytime you want. Gump, you're basically being valued like Josh Allen and the 1.1, according to Master. He likes you.
Not bad.
All right, Gump, you okay signing up? Did you get through?
I'm still working on it.
Okay, appreciate you. Matt says Smitty is ahead of his time.
How much money do I do?
That's up to you. I've nothing to do with that.
How much is it? How much is the league tonight? At midnight? How much?
We'll probably getting some $3 drafts. So if you want to get in, you just need.
Can we do a $100 one? Can we do a $100 one?
I'm not doing a $100 one tonight. We'll be doing $3 drafts tonight before that contest goes away. So it's a contest that's going to be very short, limited time. $3.
We're doing $3 drafts.
We're only doing one of them, so you really only need the $3. But just do whatever you are comfortable with. All right, mute yourself real quickly. Smitty's ahead of his time in the fantasy game. Yeah, there's no channel that does what we do. Like they're you know, I can say it very confidently. They're even like the bigger channels, let's say the big boys. I don't even mention people because they don't deserve the free advertising. But they have like producers, like 3 and 4 producers and 5, 6 different, you know, analysts and everything. I do it all. I'm producing it. I am directing it. I'm babysitting the phone line. Nobody else takes calls, you know, so believe me, I've got the best of the best going on, and we're very, very soundly set up. But Johnny's, you know, willingness to throw super chats to help. You are helping, I promise you. You're getting like things like the, you know, the boss horn and the drone. We got to get back to that. I got a drone when $20 haulers or $100 haulers, I don't know what we're going to decide this year, get dropped. I fly the drone. I got the dollars we throw around. I got to get back to that. So we'll start getting back to that. All right, go ahead. We got a fly in the studio. Let me see if I can trap him in the bottle.
Yo, Smitty.
Yeah.
Hello? I
Yeah.
checked out Dylan Sampson, man. Oh my God.
Did I tell you or did I
that
tell you?
dude's good at the contact. Yo, he's a beast.
Yeah.
He minds, yo, that he's fast.
I know. So when you watch Devin Neal, it looks like you're watching a Mickey Mouse, you know, running back. When you watch Dylan Sampson, you're watching a grown man.
I mean, he's tough. He is real tough. Like, once he gets hit, he's hard to take down.
Yeah, Dylan Sampson is the man. I crushed a bug on my wall.
Damn,
All right, hey, I gotta go. I gotta cycle the phone line off. All right, glad you like Dylan Sampson. I told you.
Okay.
He's 10 times the running back Devin Neal.
Talk to you
10
later.
times. All right, later, bro. Final thoughts. Let me go over to that was Kyrie Boston. Let me go over to Gump. Gump, final thoughts. I got to roll.
Hang on, I'm almost there. You got to stay on until I get it done.
All right, mute yourself real quick. I'm not staying on. I gotta go.
I'm doing
Gump.
300. Just that way I have 450 to.
Okay,
with.
rock out. Yeah, they match you up to $1,000, 50%. So understand that, it'll tell you in there or give you that. So it's not like they match you 100% on it. Rock out your live final thoughts.
Yeah, I just hope everybody gets players they want for their teams, and hopefully players land the right spots for fantasy production. And it'd be interesting if it's a big bidding war to get a running back at like number 5.
Yeah. Yep. Appreciate you, my boy. Rock out to the moon. All right, Gump, final thoughts. I'm sorry, I'm leaving.
But hang on. Gosh,
Gump, I can't hang on. I'm not. This isn't a customer service line.
I'm having problems. I don't know what to do now. Where to go?
Zach?
Wait a minute. Oh man, where'd it go?
What do you mean, where'd it go?
Oh.
What do you mean, bro?
Well, I was trying to. Huh?
What do you mean, where'd it go?
Okay, it says add money with Apple Pay. I just want to pay with my card.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I can't help you with that. I'm not there. You're gonna have to get
No,
Zach
I mean
to
it
help
says
you.
Apple Pay. Why?
Well, do it with an Apple Pay and then pay yourself back. I gotta go, Gump. Appreciate you.
I can do credit. Oh, it says
Okay.
credit card.
Okay.
Visa.
Awesome, Gump. I gotta go. Appreciate you. See you tonight. We'll be drafting later. Bye. All right, Travis. Final thoughts. But don't hang up now. I can't leave.
No, I'll let you go. I'll call later. Thanks,
All
mate.
right. Appreciate you, Travis. My poor mods. Travis to the moon. My poor mods. Got to deal with this. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, now you know. Supernova season.
There are handfuls of Saturn, Mars, and Moon men, but only 8 can be supernovas. I give you the 8 best picks in fantasy football.
They are the 8 supernovas. They are the 8 supernovas. The hateful 8 supernovas.
Thank you to all my super chatters. BBQ, New Age Outlaw.
At the 8
Gifted memberships. BBQ's the man. Hey, BBQ, you haven't seen the drone, have you? I got to charge it.
The magnificent 8.
Liftoff of mission 41D, the first flight of the orbiter Discovery.
Hey, have you seen the drone yet, BBQ? Were you here in time to see the drone? Any $20 hauler tonight. So if BBQ, New Age, anybody drops one, I'm going to fly the drone tonight as long as I can charge it. So if you haven't seen this, it's an unreal experience, and it's the best in the business. I'm the best YouTube fantasy football drone flyer that I've ever seen. I think in the world, potentially. BBQ, get ready for it. BBQ, your mind's going to be blown tonight.